girlfriend at the time, like, she's just a trip. So she just goes, oh, well, I just downloaded a bunch of trip reports. And I remember reading one about a different route. And, like, the old route goes up that mountain. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, that's the way to go over. And I'm like, seriously? And she's like, that's what this says. I was like, damn, I don't know if I want a 4-wheel drive up there, man. And she's like, we going to go back? And I'm like, no. So we just redline the truck, like, up this hill. It's a mountain. Like, not a hill, it's a mountain. Yeah. We get to the top, and I'm just like, oh, my God. So you look down, and it's just a sea of, like, rock and snow.
Right.
So I drive down, and I have to literally drive on the rock bands that go around to get down off the mountain into this valley, and we drive all the way up this valley, and finally we're just like, okay, we're leaving the car here. Like, I mean, talking in the middle of the desert, dude.
Right.
And we get saddled up, and I'm like, I don't want to leave the car here. And, like, I literally have my backpack on, and I'm standing here. I'm standing here. And, like, everyone's like, yeah, man, we're going to go. And I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the matter? I'm like, I don't know, man. I just can't leave the car here. Like, I'm going to take the battery out of the car. Like, drop our gear, take it out of the car, put it in the car.
Okay, yeah.
I take the battery out of the car. It's wintertime, and we're at, like, 9,000 feet.
Oh, yeah, it'll fuck your battery.
Yeah, so I pull that out, like, put it in a space blanket, wrap it in nothing. I was trimming balls, and then I just put it in the car, right? And I'm like...
This will keep it warm.
Well, at least it'll keep it from, like, just getting, I don't know, anything. Right? Right? Was it making sense? Maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, still tripping, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like standing there, and they're like, dude, there's nothing else we can do. We're going. So we hike up, and you know, I have a walking cast on, you know, and I'm just like doing my best to get up there. And we get to hike camp, and my climbing partner doesn't want to climb. He's like, I'm like, I got up at midnight and I was making.
Doesn't want to lead, or
doesn't want to go. Like I'm making top ramen for them for breakfast. You know, at midnight. I'm like, hey, you guys start getting your gear together. It's like freezing, super clear, perfect weather. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that alpine start.
Oh yeah, man, and it's just crispy cold and like beautiful outside. Yep. And I was like, okay, I'm making you guys top ramen. You know, something warm to get going. And like Nate's like, I don't want to go. And I was like, what? He was like, I don't really feel good, man. Like, I don't know. Like, he just wasn't feeling it. I'm like, dude, we are like on the launch pad, man. Like, this is it. T-. Like, let's go. And he's like, I'm not going. So I was like, fuck it. I'll go. So I'm like, I go.
In your walking boot. Like
yeah, right. You know, I have a crampon on one foot, and then like, you know, so I'm just like, we're going up. So I was like climbing real slow, right? So my girlfriend would climb above me and go to sleep. And then I'd come up to her and I'd be like, hey. She's like, hi. And then I would go by her, then she'd get up and then go by me and climb up and then lay down and go to sleep.
You were swinging naps.
Yeah. And I would just walk by her like, hey, sweetheart. She's like, hi. And then I'd go up and then she'd walk with me for a while. And like, you know, we got up to about 24,000. No, I think it's 22 something. It's over 20.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on it.
So fucking high.
Yeah, so we make a bad turn somewhere, and like we have a big, like the summit's right there.
Big serac.
And no, just rock, vertical rock. We went to like kind of a prow as opposed to go around on the ridge and gain the ridge and come back. Like we went to the right, and it was like we were just really showing signs of lassitude, right? So we were just sitting there, and we had pictures of each other actually, of just like sitting on these rocks, like looking at each other, and like. Finally, she's like...
That not talking thing is a weird
sensation. Right?
Like,
just sitting there.
Yeah, you're just like, no, I'm just like...
Chilling out. And finally, she's like, hey, what time is it? And I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, I wonder what time it is. And I'm like, well, let me look, you know. Digging through my layers and layers of clothes, trying to find my watch. And I'm like, I can't remember what it was. It was like 3:30 or 4.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, it's like 3:34 or whatever, and she just goes, we should go down. I was like...
So there's radio calls from the 90s of, they would call up and be like, hey man, are you coming down? No, I'm just really comfortable. And they're like, no, like, you need to get the fuck down. Like, God damn it, get down.
Right.
No, like, I'm just gonna sit here. And like, literally, like, fully mobile, able to move,
Just choosing not to.
just sitting because like you freeze to death in a tappy.
So she's like, I think we should go down. And I turn around because the sun's behind me, and we are really close to like 2 hours to sunset.
Oh,
Like, and I'm like, dude, we got to go down. She's like, well, we bailing on the summit? And I'm like, dude, we got to go.
Yeah.
Like, we got to go because it's like wintertime. It's like January. It's like in the middle of summer.
Right.
Down there, it's winter.
Get the fuck out, yeah.
Let's go. So we're going down, and I can see our camp, and Nate's below me. So we turn our headlamps on, so we face him, headlamps on.
Yeah, he can see you.
He has his headlamp on, and I'm like, great. We just need to just stay on target, and we'll get within a window of the camp, and we should be fine, right? Because we're going to lose him at some point. So what happens is he thinks that we're in trouble. Clearly. He's looking way up on the mountain and he can see us.
Out, yeah.
And so he starts grabbing our gear. He starts grabbing sleeping bags and stuff, ramming him into a backpack, and then he starts moving. There's terrain traps between us, like small mountains.
Yeah.
And he starts moving, and we follow him and he follows us. And we follow him and he follows us. And we follow him and he follows us. So now I've been on my feet for 24 hours. We're out of water. We ran out of water.
19,000 feet. Are you out of fuel?
No, we didn't. We were just full alpine style. No
Oh, okay.
gear. Our water froze. I hadn't eaten in 24 hours. The water has been frozen for about 12. So we were just like, dude, where's the camp? And he's like, I don't know. And then he goes, well, it's on my GPS. And I'm like, where is it? And he goes, it's way that way. I go, what the fuck? Dude, like, where are we? He goes, I don't know. I've been following you. I go, I've been following you. And he was just like, oh my God. So we're walking around looking, and I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm just being super clear. Like, dude, I am fucked up. Like,
yeah, you're not good.
I gotta lay down. Like, I am doomed. I'm so tired.
Right.
I haven't eaten. I want
you
water.
Drink water.
And my girlfriend is just like, I want water. I want water. I want water. And she keeps saying it, and I'm just like, nothing's getting resolved. We're not eating, we're not resting, we're not drinking. We are just wandering around more and more.
Yeah.
So finally, I just deck out on some water ice and just do the full deck, and I'm laying there, I'm like, oh my God, that feels so good. And I was just like this. So Erin's headlamp burned out or froze, and she's like, get up.
Because what year was this?
2002.
Yeah, so they weren't like
no,
mine
had it. My batteries were inside my jacket.
Yeah,
hers were not.
Those will fucking freeze.
Yeah, they did freeze. And she was like, "Get up!" And I'm like, "I am not getting up." And she's like, "Don't be a dick." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not getting up." So she's like, I'm taking your headlamp. It's she's like storming around. I get to see her out there, the headlamp whipping around.
How tall were, how high up were you guys?
About 18, something like that. At open bivvy in the middle of the winter.
Yeah, so you're not thinking, you're not...
I'm happy to lay there. I'm like, find the camp and tell me what's up. And they're like, we can't find the camp. So I finally dragged my ass up. And we walk a little ways and I said, that's it. Like, that's it. It's over. Get in your sleeping bags. It was Nate, Erin, and I.
Fucking done.
And we just huddled together, just on the ground.
Yep.
And just did the whole
Yep.
rotisserie thing all night. And woke up in the morning, and our camp was about 200 meters, right over there. So we hadn't eaten. We still didn't have any water. So Erin is it's Linus from the Snoopies, and where he's dragging his pillow.
No.
Yeah, so she's dragging her sleeping bag. She'll drag it for about, 25 meters, and then she would just cry. Yeah. And I was just sit on the rock with her. I'm like, it's all good, man.
We can see the camp.
Yeah, it's right there. We're gonna make it.
Drag
and
it.
she'd just cry, and then she'd be like, I'm like, come on, dragging her sleeping bag, and then she'd break down. And finally, I was just like, look I'll carry your sleeping bag for you. So I'm carrying a sleeping bag, and I kind of left it behind because I wanted to get some water. And I get there, and my climbing partner is no water, nothing's going down. I'm like, dude, what's the matter? And he's going, I'm just not with it. I'm like, fuck. I mean, I was kind of being a dick, and I was just like, fuck, dude, we need help, man. Let's go.
Well, you guys
water.
You didn't have any liquid water at that point to melt snow quick.
Well, that's why we went in the winter time, because we could chop ice. So
right, but you still have to have that base.
Yeah,
right?
but we got to start making it happen.
Yeah.
So we got it going. I'm we're making food. And then I was like, I go, we can't stay here. Like, we have to descend. And, like, we need to get our shit together, and then we need to go back up. Right? Like, we were right there. I know the route. Like, let's just go take 3 days.
Right, chill
and
out.
get our head back in the game, and, like, let's just go up there.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, like, during the course of all that, there was a really big...
The weather window stayed.
Well, there was a big storm, but on our way up. I forgot to mention. Like, there was a day where it was just hammering, the coolest one I ever spent in my life. Like, it was like...
I was going to say,
it was
the
just
fact
overnight.
that you guys didn't get hit
we got
with
hit
a
hard.
storm when you were open bivvying, that is insane.
No, we got lucky there. But during the course of our ascent, when we were acclimatizing, we did get hit by a really gnarly storm. It was like...
150 mile an hour.
I don't know if it was that bad, but it was freaking cold as shit and windy. So we descend down to the previous camp.
Yeah.
And I get in there, and my boy is like not doing anything. I get there, and he's just sitting there. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, we need to get our shit together.
Right.
And he goes, my hands hurt me. And I'm like, take your fucking gloves off, dude. And his hands are black from frostbite from the night before. Like, all his fingers, these 6 fingers are just black tipped.
Oh, shit.
Gnarly. I'm like, dude, sit down, man. Let me get you some water. Like, let's get some food on board. Let me help you pack your shit up, because he was just sick. And
Yeah.
like, I didn't know
Did
what
you
was
lose
going
him?
No.
Oh,
But I'm
that's
like,
good.
well, we got to go, right?
Yeah.
Like, we got to go. Like, we're not
not
staying
hanging
here.
out.
No,
Yeah.
we're packing now.
Yeah, you get hit with another storm.
So we are like, I'm like, we're bailing now. So we have to go to, we have to get a hold of a doctor. So we're just like, just take care of him. I apologize for being a dick. Get him organized, help
Right.
him, because he's the sick one. And like, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, tighten him up. I mean, we're just going, I said, we're just going to the car. I don't give a shit.
Right.
So like, we go to the car, we get there before dark, and I'm like, we throw all the gear in the car, and I take the battery out, and I put it in the car, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, like, this cannot be happening to me, right? And the car won't start. And I'm cranking it and cranking it and cranking it, and I'm like...
Is it turning over, though? Is the
Yeah,
back-
it's turning
okay.
over, but it won't start. And I was like... I go, oh, you know, when I was a kid, my dad used to take the carburetor, like the air filter cover off the car when we were like high, like into California, like
Yeah.
going up to Yosemite through those passes in Nevada.
Yeah.
He'd pull it off. And I was like, huh. So I just went in and pulled the cover off the air filter and freaking cranked the car like right over.
Holy
And I was
shit.
just like, yes. Dude, like, we're out of here.
OG dad.
Yeah, right. And like, so on the right hand side of the car, I got everybody in, and I was like, I couldn't see out the the right mirror. And I was like, get the dust off that. And like, they rolled it down, like, there's no dust on it. And like, I couldn't see out the mirror. And I was like, maybe the mirror just fell out. You know what I mean? Like when I
Yeah,
was
that
like
makes
4-wheel
sense.
driving.
Yeah.
So I whip around. I know the route up over that freaking crazy mountain.
Right.
And I get to onto the ridge line.
It's dark now.
No, it's still day.
Still there.
And the Caballeros, dude, are down there. I'm saying the word wrong. It's like the Border Patrol.
Okay.
The guy we stayed with. And they were in this hopped up Toyota Tacoma.
Okay.
And I could just see him like 2,000 feet below me, like driving around. And I was like, it's the Caballeros, dudes. So like we just like drive straight down, and I drive up next to the Caballeros, and they're just like, dude, like, I don't speak Spanish, but I know they were just like, dude, we have been looking for you. That storm was gnarly. Like, I know what they were saying.
Yeah.
And they were just like,
Right.
yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's
so
get the
they
fuck
just
outta
like punch it into the desert, and they just, those snow bands that we kept getting stuck in, they just were like straight through them, and I just followed them.
Those Toyota Tacomas.
Yeah, and
like,
they just make a little route, and I could get that rav through there, and like we just ripped out of the desert, got up to their place, and then the guides from Aconcagua were there.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, you guys are guides from Aconcagua? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, dude, my boy Nate got frostbite. And they're like, what? And they all just run over. They're like, oh, yeah, dude, you're like, you have to go beat this doctor in Copiapo who's
Right.
an expert in this. He's down the road.
Yeah, you gotta get that rehab.
Yeah, well, it's this little village in the middle of nowhere, and this
Right.
dude's out there studying frostbite.
Yep.
So he's like, this is the doctor, this is the hospital. They give him topographical antibiotics, they give him oral antibiotics, they give him painkillers. We gave them food, fuel, gummy worms, cases
Right.
of top ramen, and they were just like scored heavy on the freaking snacks.
It always pays to be a doctor.
Yeah, well, they handed over a bunch of drugs and shit. So then it was like Paris in a car.
Yeah.
Like, it was just desert, full dark, like just panning it like 600 miles like through the night, like just
Oh,
ripping to
jeez.
Copiapo.
Yeah.
Go to Copiapo, meet this joker, right? This doctor.
Yeah.
Guy's like, boom, boom, boom. Here's the drugs. You are going to the States, he says.
Yeah.
You're going to be going to New York. You need to see a specialist like right away. So we can't make it to Santiago overnight from Copiapo. It's just too far. We were exhausted. So we spent one more night halfway there and then got him to the airport. And literally I just parked in the front in the no parking zone. And he goes, I'm like, dude, just go check it out. And I'm going to stay here. I don't give a shit. Like, I'll just make a loop. But like, I'll meet you here. I'm just sitting there and I shit you not. He comes out 5 minutes later and goes, dude, I just got an emergency flight to New York. I'm leaving in an hour. You just got to grab my shit. And I'm just like, grab his gear out of the car.
Wow.
And he just goes, yeah, whatever's left, dude, figure it out.
Yeah.
And I would have high-fived him, but his hand was fucked up.
Wow, that's a gnarly story.
So he takes off. There's more to it. There's one more piece. There's one more piece. So he takes off. We return the car, and we're hanging out.
Yeah.
And then we get back to the States, and Nate calls me up and says, dude, we just got a $5,000 bill from the insurance company for the car, the rental car. And I'm like, why? He goes, the whole right-hand side of the car got sandblasted down to the metal from that storm. And the mirror was so pitted, I couldn't see out of it. And I go, dude, I thought that was just dust. And he goes, no, dude, we fucked that car up, man. And I'm like, Nate, I don't got $2,500,
no, we're
man.
dirtbags. Like,
and he goes, dude, I rented that with American Express, so they're taking care of it. So all ended well.
but think about if you had hit. Did you guys get hit with sand?
Yeah.
In that storm?
So Erin was like in multiple layers of cold weather gear.
Yeah.
When she was in the tent that night and she changed, she was like this, and I could see dirt embedded in her chest.
Wow.
Because I was like this, like I was hiking and I went, what the fuck's that? It was just this mist coming.
Like
and
from
everyone's
Mummy.
like, I'm like, I don't know, man, that looks weird. And we're kind of hiking, all of a sudden that first gust coming, I'm like, dude, I don't know, man, that's really coming at us.
I've heard about like people in Alaska when I read gear reviews in Alaska, and they're like sand is a big issue. But like Pacific Northwest, do you guys get sandstorms?
No, this is not. Well, I mean, I guess you kind of could if you're on some of those volcanoes. And
Yeah.
the eastern part of Washington is desert.
Yeah.
And the eastern part of Oregon's desert. So I guess you could have it. But this was like being down in South America. It was like all just desert.
Yeah.
So so it really worked out well that we got the car paid for, and Nate just lost a tiny bit of one finger, like right there.
That sucks.
No, we're gonna put that in the win category.
Yeah. Yeah, not losing the whole thing. And you get a little souvenir.
So fucked up.
That
Like
is.
50 vertical feet from the summit, like this.
Yeah, but
I couldn't
I
check.
don't know.
I couldn't rock.
Biggest thing I look for in a partner though is ability to scrap. Like you gotta be able to know when to call it.
Well, had we been healthy,
Right.
we would have done.
Right.
We would have
but
done it.
like, but like the fact that you knew when to bail.
Oh yeah.
I get these guys and they're like they're too gung ho, and I'm like, I'm not gonna climb with you because like fuck that. Like I need you to be able to say like, okay, like I want to come back and do this.
Yeah. You know, people often think it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'll be like,
If you die,
yeah, it is a once in a lifetime. Well, yeah, that'll be it. But I don't ever feel like I'm gonna only have one shot at things.
no.
If I ever had to
How
decide,
many of those summits have you gotten?
that was it.
Okay.
And we never achieved another one. I was involved in a really bad climbing accident on Mount Hood, which that was it.